Welcome to this battle of the booty.
Battle
it's time
of the
to see
booty.
which lady can put the ass
time
in
to see
badass.
which lady can put the ass
Let's
in
answer the
badass.
question.
Let's answer the question.
Thicker?
Who is thicker?
Hey, guess what? This episode is completely unscripted because life has been a major pain in the ass lately and I just didn't have the time or motivation to write a script. But don't worry, I have a bunch of bullet points here and we're just gonna wing it because, well, why the hell not? Alright, so let's talk about Darkstalkers first. Okay, so Morrigan Morrigan, she's from Darkstalkers, which is maybe the saddest fighting game series of them all. Yeah, come on, Capcom. I know you've been focusing on Resident Evil and Street Fighter and other stuff, I'm sure. But man, where's Darkstalkers? Come on, you gotta bring it back. Give it some gusto. You guys have been doing well lately. Why not just throw some money into a Darkstalkers project? I'm sure people would like it. I'd like it. I mean, I think it's cool. It's like the idea of like monster parodies, homages, lookalikes. One of those, like, fighting each other. I think that's cool. And hell, come on, Morrigan is awesome. She's got a Scottish accent, which is cool. She's a succubus, which is cool. She has a nice ass, which is cool. And I mean, hey, it's funny. Like, I feel like in terms of, like, best girl, right? I know what's the contest? It's what's the contest? It's between Morrigan and Felicia, right? Hell, I think Morrigan is way cooler than Felicia. Not that Felicia isn't cool, but I mean, come on, you see Morrigan, and it's like, damn, this is cool. And I mean, hey, right? What's the sad thing about Darkstalkers is like it just didn't really pan out, or I guess it didn't follow the same success as Street Fighter. Or however that went. Now, admittedly, to be fair, would I have rather Darkstalkers have been more successful than Street Fighter? Well, I mean, obviously, we'll never know like how that would have turned out. But to be fair, if Darkstalkers had been more successful than Street Fighter, we would have never gotten Cammy White, and that's something I wouldn't have been okay with. So, you know what? I'm happy that Street Fighter came out on top, but hey, Capcom, listen, I'm sure Street Fighter 6 is going to sell like 1 billion copies. So, like, once that goes through and like all the DLC and all that yada yada yada, if you want to just throw out a Darkstalkers, like, why not? Just go nuts. I mean, the Darkstalkers characters have really only existed in like spin-off costumes. Like, I think the Darkstalkers costumes were in Street Fighter 5. I think they were in what was it? They were in I mean, the Darkstalkers costumes were in Street Fighter 5. They were in, what is it? What's that zombie game? Not Dead Island, the other one. Dead Rising? Yeah, Dead Rising. That was it, I think, right? It was in Dead Rising 4. And then there was, what was that last one? Marvel vs. Capcom. Although, to be fair, it seems like Marvel vs. Capcom is dead in and of itself. And that's pretty sad, because it seemed pretty fun. So yeah, bring back the Darkstalkers. Make a game. You can do it. Bring back Morrigan. We love her. She's cool. She's got a nice ass. I mean, tights. Leotard tights. Is that how that works? Yeah, Come on. All right, shoot. I guess I've said everything that I'm going to say, so I guess what? Now's clips, right? I got to show clips and stuff. Yeah, just roll whatever footage future XD, whatever footage you find, just roll it now.
I want you, body and soul.
Okay, now let's talk about Jacko and Guilty Gear. And let me say this, Guilty Gear I think might be the funniest fighting game series of them all, because, I mean, you can argue about how, like, Street Fighter takes some liberties, with realism and how, looking at it realistically, it's kind of funny. Or you can look at, like, Mortal Kombat, right? It's like, people getting completely destroyed in matches and they just stand up and they're perfectly fine. But let's just put it out there, or I'm putting it out there. Guilty Gear might be the least realistic fighting game of like the anime otherworldly fighting games of its kind to ever exist. Now, to be fair, I don't know all fighting games, but man, Guilty Gear is weird. Maybe only rivaled by BlazBlue. BlazBlue is also kind of weird. But I think it's really funny. I have actually played a Guilty Gear game. I've never played any of the Darkstalkers games. I forgot to mention that. I played Guilty Gear Strive when it came out. I realized that was terrible. Realized the story was so brilliant that I would never understand what was happening because like it takes events of other things. You know how that works. But you know what? Enough about that. Let's talk about Jacko. I usually talk about like story nonsense and backstory, but remember, this is unscripted, so we're just going for it. So Jacko, from my understanding, is like a Valentine, whatever that is. What's a Valentine? Just think of them like otherworldly beings, I guess. And then Jacko was one who I guess has the same appearance as the main character's wife, Soul Bad Guy. Soul Bad Guy's wife is Jacko, apparently, or Jacko was Jacko and then became the resemblance of his wife, or like she has her memories or something. I don't know how that works. But listen, absolutely none of that matters. You and I both know that Jacko blew up the internet with the Jacko pose. I mean, mwah, it's a thing of glory. I'm pretty sure it's physically impossible, but nobody cares. I mean, you couldn't go 2 feet without seeing your favorite character get put in the Jacko pose. It was all over the internet, and I think it's pretty obvious why. The booty. See, this is why the booty surpasses the bobas every time. I understand some people like the bobas more than the booty, and I understand that the bobas are nice in their own right. I like the bobas as much as anyone else, but man, come on. The booty is where it's at, you gotta admit. Oh, God. All right. Hell, have I made my point? I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. Oh, yeah, right. I guess a winner? Is this a winner time? This is probably the shortest episode of Who is Thicker of them all, I'm sure, as a result of this. Oh, yeah, so Morrigan versus Jacko, who is thicker? Yeah, it's Morrigan. I think that's pretty obvious. Like, I mean, Jacko has the Jacko pose, but that doesn't make her thick. You understand me? Morrigan is thick. I mean, that's to be fair. Also, I just think Morrigan is a much cooler character with her accent and being a succubus and also purple? Yeah, sure. That yeah, okay. So there you go. That's my thoughts. That's Morrigan wins. Next time, hopefully, if my life doesn't continue to be in complete shambles, I can write a script for soon. Okay, thank you. Goodbye.